The issue of false news, of course, has been making headlines since the election, and Facebook was the main social media platform where fake news apparently did the best. It was shared, it went viral, and so there was a lot of pressure put on Mark Zuckerberg and other executives at Facebook to do something about this issue. And they just came out with a new policy that they plan on testing out to deal with it. Now, Facebook's new policy will allow users to self-report the presence of fake news on the site. Stories that are frequently reported will be flagged to nonpartisan fact-checking groups like PolitiFact and Snopes. At the outset, it will be an experimental process meant to discern how exactly the policy could be practically implemented. So what they want to do is ensure that they're focusing on fact checkers from nonpartisan organizations to ensure that it's not fake news. But it gets a lot more complicated. Now, there are definitely people out there who put false information out there or propaganda, and they have, malintent. But then there are certain reputable news organizations that get stories wrong, and they don't do it intentionally, but it just happens to happen that way. So Rolling Stone reporting on a woman or a college student who was allegedly raped, and then it turns out that story was false. They didn't corroborate it, right? Is Rolling Stone now considered a fake news source? So it gets a little complicated. We'll see how it goes. But of course, members of the conspiratorial right wing are not happy with this, especially individuals at InfoWars, which is absolutely 100% a fake news site.
Mm-hmm. So you mean to tell me that 50 Cent is not marrying Meryl Streep?
I didn't see that one. Okay, all right, I got to check that out on Facebook. Yeah, I don't know that I love this. Look, if you can't tell InfoWars is not true, you got issues.
A lot of people can't.
I know you can, I know.
Back to the Dylan Roof thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of dudes with issues. I get it. And don't get me wrong, like not every person who listens to Alex Jones is crazy, because they might have caught like 5 minutes of him, and he's talking about how, rich people would like to fix the system to their benefit. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock, that part's true. Right? Okay. Or JFK didn't get killed by a magic bullet. Yeah, that part's true, right? But if you keep on listening, he's going to tell you that it's the devil combined with aliens that are controlling us, and that the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers are going to kill 90% of the people on the planet. Like, right? So I don't know how far you went down the rabbit hole. If you went that far and you're still with him, I got news for you. You're insane. You should check yourself into an asylum, and you've got issues, okay?
Did you see an article that was going viral? It was an article that was like this fake headline, but the point was to see if people would read the entire article. And
yes, I saw that. Yeah,
and people
really
were
good.
sharing and sharing and sharing, and they wouldn't. And that happens so much, on social media. You're talking about people who read headlines, they spread, they really believe this. And most of the people that have called me like out of the cons and call me all the words, you know who you are, you watching right now. All of those people that call me those names, I'll go on their pages and I'll look at the stuff that they share, and it's like
it's
like
same
shit
kind of
that
stuff.
Elmo wrote. You know what I mean?
So can I give you an example, actually? An example that was quoted in the Daily Beast was actually really interesting. So the headline was Goldman Sachs transcript. And remember, Hillary Clinton giving those speeches to Goldman Sachs was a huge deal during the primaries. And so everyone wanted the transcript. So Goldman Sachs transcripts headline. And then it said, wherein Hillary Clinton called Bernie Sanders fans a bucket of losers, garnered millions of views. Still, the fake story was read on air by Fox News' Megyn Kelly and was repeated by Donald Trump-approved websites like InfoWars. Now, later on, it was made very, very clear that it was a fake news story. Megyn Kelly retracted the story. InfoWars took it down but never corrected it, which is to be expected because they're a basket of deplorables. But that's the kind of stuff that happens. And by the way, in that article, apparently there was a part, in context, the fabricated document clearly shows that the fictionalized version of Clinton is speaking about the children's show My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, right? So the people who read that article didn't even really read it or analyze it. Because had they done so, they would have seen that and known that it's a fake news story.
Well, hashtag Ponygate. I don't know. I don't know. So there's two different kinds of fake news, in my opinion. One is the memes, like that written by Elmo. And, you know, and unfortunately, a big percentage of our population believes in Elmo, right? So they're like, oh my God. And then Obama got $3 billion from McDonald's when, you know, whatever. I don't know what insane stuff they came up, because he's black. But they wouldn't give it to white people, right? Or whatever it is, right? So you've got those memes and you got all these stupid stories.
That might be true.
And then you got the separate fake news, which is purposely intended to deceive, like it's little believable, right? And then they write a whole story around it. That to me is more dangerous. Although the memes work better because a lot of people aren't sophisticated. They're like a whole article. No, what did Elmo say?
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That's very true.
Okay, but so here's where I would draw the line. If Snopes, PolitiFact, etc., you guys want to fact check the articles, I love it. I love it. And I want you to do that, and we rely on you guys, and you do a great job at it. You know, once you get into removing things, it starts to get dicey.
Right, because here's the thing: the arbiters who decide whether or not it's a fake news story might have, you know, a political leaning. It could be someone who has a political leaning toward the left or the right. And also, I worry about the fact that, you know, someone who might have a personal beef or gripe with a certain news source might decide, all right, I'm just going to label this news source as fake, and they can't share it on Facebook anymore, right? So, look, I just feel like there's a lot of room for censorship with these kinds of policies, and we have to be really, really careful. With that said, I do agree that fake news stories were a problem during this election. I don't think it was the determining factor in Hillary losing at all, okay? I think it might have influenced it a little bit. But there are a lot of misinformed people out there, and this is a result of that.
Maybe a rating system. You know, and then that you take it under advisement, right? And if you don't believe in the rating system, that's fine, right? But like blocking it to me is deeply problematic, because what's most likely to happen is not someone with a left-wing bias or a right-wing bias. What's most likely to happen is a lot of people with an establishment bias. Yeah. So say, hey, wait, you know, CNN tells me this, and Washington Post tells me that, and what do they get it from? They got it from the Pentagon, they got it from the White House, they got it from the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, and that is the gospel. And if you go outside that gospel, then I'm going to remove it, or I'm not going to let you share it, etc. That starts to get into censorship.
Well, who does the rating? I mean, because like at Whole Foods, when you buy beef, the better the beef, the higher the number, and 5 is supposed to be the best grade of beef, right? So if we did that, who's going to determine that? Who's going to say, this article is real beef? Like, who's going to say that?
And it sounds like the system is based on users flagging it first, right? So people like us, right, are now contributing to whether or not the news is real, and I'm not sure that we are experts on what's actually happened, so...
agree to disagree.
No, but you make a good point.
You did break
because
the McDonald's story.
If it's Facebook users who do the initial flagging,
right?
I mean, the problem is Facebook users not really knowing the difference between real stories and fake stories. So, yeah, it's a complicated issue. It's really, really hard to solve it. And look, false information, misinformation has been a big problem since the beginning of time, you know, and that's a difficult thing to deal with. I don't know if censorship's the right way, or something that could lead to censorship.
And to your point, I mean, look, companies with more money are going to be able to overpower this thing too, right? So Fox News does fake news all the time. You know, they did that insane story about the Obama phones, that every black person in the country was going to get a phone if Obama became president. So, and then they did that crazy story about how Obama spent like $1 trillion on a trip to India or something. It was like so unbelievable, right? But they ran with it, and remember the terrorist fist jab they said Barack and Michelle Obama were having, right?
All of their fake news was about the Obama.
I'm seeing
a trend.
Yeah, a theme here. And so, but you think they're going to get called fake news? No way. No way, because they got too much money and they have too much power.
Yeah.
I didn't get my phone.
Yeah,
Puerto Rican, I'm black. They round me off to the nearest color. I want my phone. I didn't get my phone.
Obama, call us. I know what you're thinking about the corporate media.
Oh, no, not again.
I hear you, brother. Luckily, there's the Young Turks, and you make it happen.
Come join us. tytnetwork.com/join.